How's it going, everyone? This is part 4 of Slice Fractions. It's a great puzzle game, very fun, and teaches fractions as you play. Every puzzle builds intuition about fractions and an understanding of how to solve problems related to fractions. If you're interested in the previous 3 parts, I will put the link in the description. So let's get straight into it. Officially, I believe it's meant for ages 6 to 12, but some of the puzzles, even adults would find them fun, and some of the puzzles are simple and intuitive enough for children under 6 to do as well. So we are on level 5 of the game called Problem Solving, or section 5 of the game. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we have a cloud with 1 quarter and a cloud with 3 quarters. These are smoke clouds. We have to cancel them out with these ice blocks. And it's up to us to understand that the smaller block must represent the smaller cloud, 1 quarter, or the smaller amount, and the larger block is the larger amount, 3 quarters. Okay, now we have 5/5, 1/5, and 3/5. Of course, 5/5 is the largest amount, and 1/5 is the smallest amount. 3/5 is in the middle. So, we drop them as such, and the path for our mammoth is clear. In every level, you're just trying to create a path for this mammoth to cross. Okay, now here the denominator is different. 1/9, 1/2, and 1 quarter. So same idea, we want to understand that 1/2 is the largest and 1/9 is the smallest. And in the middle we have 1 quarter. If we were to get this in the wrong order, then we'd either have some ice left over or some smoke left over, and the mammoth wouldn't be able to cross. Okay, here we want the mammoth to be able to fly across to get to his kids here. Right, if we just launch him here, then you see that big block of ice gets in the way. But if we just cut off a big chunk of that block, then you see it gets stuck here and doesn't fall. Right, now if we let him launch with the larger block there, then he launches too high. So we need to slice off pieces of this larger block piece by piece, all right, so that ever so gradually, that one might be a bit too big, that was fine, there we go, now that should work. Now we have an open path, nothing's interfering with the launch mechanism, and oh, he makes it across barely. Very nice. Okay, badge of fractions ordering. We earned it, right? We can tell what's bigger, what's smaller. So now normally we would win this black hat at this level. I've already won it before, and that's why we see this happening. Okay, so here we have 1/2 at the bottom, and we want to cancel that out with 1/2 of a block of ice, right? The lower block here, we have 1/3 on one side, so that's 2/3 on the other side, not what we're looking for. The top block, 1/2 on one side, and 1/6 3 times on the other side. Well, that's 3/6, which is equal to 1/2, right? Which is what we're looking for, even if the player doesn't know that 3/6 is equal to 1/2, well, they can see it visually here, right? That's how it builds that intuition. So let's get that 2/3 out of the way, and now we can cut off that 3/6, which is 1/2. Okay, now we need 3 quarters. So this whole triangle here is 4 quarters, right? We know that because 1 quarter of it is 1 quarter as drawn here. So we only need 3 of those 4 quarters, right? So how do we do that? Well, we subtract or cut off one of the quarters, right? So 4 quarters minus 1 quarter is 3 quarters. The rest of it we want to drop. So we pop these bubbles, drop it, and there we go. Okay, now we want 1/3. So if we look at the left block here, we have 1/6 here, And this diamond is twice as big as that triangle, right? It's two of those triangles, so that's 2/6, which is equivalent to 1/3. So that's what we want dropping. We don't even need to look at this block on the right side here, right? Because we know that this is the way to do it. So we drop that 2/6 equal 1/3 diamond. Okay, so now we want 1/3 dropping on the left side and on the right side. Okay, so if we look at the left block here, we have 1/3 defined for us, and then the question marks altogether must be 2/3. Well, we don't need 2/3, we only need 1/3, right? So we need half of that, right? 1/3 is half of 2/3. So let's separate that bigger section, cut off half of it, and done. Same idea on the right side, right? The smaller section of that right block is 1/3. So the question mark section is 2/3. Well, we don't need 2/3. We only need 1/3, which is going to be half of this. So let's cut it in half and drop one of those sections. And done. Okay, now we just want this blue block to slide all the way along the red block. We can cut this as we please, so let's do that. Done. Badge of question marks, right? So we were able to tell what the not given portion is. We get a different fancy hat. I'm going to stick with this black hat here. Okay, so now we want 1/2 on the left side, 3/4 on the right side. Okay, how do we get 1/2 from 1/2? Well, we have to subtract half, which is subtracting 1/4 and another quarter, right? So there's 1/4, there's another quarter, done. Now we have 1/2. Perfect. Now here we want 3/4. How do we get 3/4 from 1/2? Well, 1/2 is 4/4 minus 1/4, that's 3/4. Pop this, and we're clear, good to go. Okay, now we want 2/3 instead of 1/2, right? How do we get 2/3? We have to subtract 1/3. Well, the right block here is conveniently cut into thirds, so let's get one of those thirds. It cancels out a third of the blue block. We have 2/3 left, pop it, and go. Okay, so now we want 5/6. So we have 6/6 on top, right? Because that 1/2 is cut into 6 pieces. And then we have 4/6 here, right? Because this white outline is cut into 6 pieces. We have 4 of them. So cutting off 3 here is easy. So we need 2 more to make 5/6, right? So there's 2/6 and another 3/6, and we're good. Okay, 2/3. So we have 2/6, which is 1/3. So we need another 1/3 to make 2/3. So we need 1/3 of this block here that has the scissors, which we can cut any way we want. So that's about 1/3 there. It's written as 2/6, but that's equal to 1/3. Okay, now we just want him to fall here to get to his kids. I didn't have to pop all of them. All right. Or her kids. So now we have one whole block of ice on top, and we want him to get across. So we don't have to cancel out all of this fire and smoke here, just what's blocking his path, the 1/5. To get to that 1/5, we have to go through the 3/5, so we need 4/5 in total. So 1 is 5/5, so we need to subtract 1/5, so we're left with 4/5. And there's 1/5 here, so if we pop this, beautiful, 1/5 is subtracted, we have 4/5 left, and then we just drop this in the middle. Beautiful. I like that puzzle. That's a fun one. Clever. Badge of subtracting. Right? All of those puzzles in that section, that was to teach us about subtraction. Build that intuition. Okay. I'll keep this fancy black hat here. Okay, we are on the last section addition, which I will save for the last episode of this series. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you next time.